1971. Two men named Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney make history by creating what many consider to be the first arcade video game, Computer Space. This little game where players fire at spaceships would kickstart a nationwide trend and create a whole new industry that would explode in popularity in the late 70s and early 80s, referred to as the golden age of arcade video games. Many companies would try to jump on this trend, including the Walt Disney Company, opening up an arcade at the original Disneyland park in Anaheim, California, only for it to face a slow and painful death. This is the story of Disneyland's forgotten arcade. In 1975, Walt Disney World would open Space Mountain. The ride proved to be a great success, and soon after, plans were created to bring a version of the ride to California. Disney would unveil an all-new complex. This of course included Space Mountain, a quick service location called the Space Place, a stage at the base of the mountain, a new portion of track for the People Mover, and a two-story arcade that would bridge the gap between Space Mountain and the already existing Adventures Through Inner Space. The entrance was marked with a red neon sign spelling Starcade. Starcade itself would open May 4th, 1977. The sounds of tokens and games filled the two-story space. When riding the People Mover, you would have gotten a look into the second floor. The second floor also had a space-inspired mural. And I'll quickly mention this, in 1983, Tokyo Disneyland would open their own Starcade, with it lasting for 24 years. In the late 80s, an X-Wing prop was added suspended above the speed ramps. The X-Wing originally sat in the Star Trader gift shop next door. In 1995, Disney began a large-scale overhaul of Tomorrowland. As part of the renovation, the original entrance to Space Mountain would be removed. While they performed work, the Starcade and speed ramps would temporarily be the new entrance to Space Mountain. When the People Mover reopened as the Rocket Rods, the view of Starcade's second floor would no longer be a part of the experience. The windows themselves were never removed, but only covered up. Not long after the renovation of Tomorrowland was complete, Starcade's second floor was closed off. At night, with the lights still on, guests were able to look into the forgotten space. In 2011, guests noticed from the first floor the X-Wing was suddenly removed, as it moved back to its original home in the Star Trader. In 2012, after Electronica ended at Disney California Adventure, many of the arcade machines from Flynn's Arcade moved over to Disneyland and were ironically being temporarily housed in Starcade's second floor. During this time, the bottom floor was given a small overhaul with the loose connection to Wreck-It Ralph, with a Ralph and Vanellope meet and greet and Fix-It Felix Jr. arcade games. After the meet and greets ended, the Wreck-It Ralph theming remained, until 2014, when a new Big Hero 6 Baymax and Hero meet and greet would move in. During the early to mid 2010s, the Starcade was primarily a retail location, with machines scattered around, some towards the back and a few towards the front in hopes of unsuccessfully hiding the speed ramps. Starcade limped along until 2015, as it would quietly be closed. A small portion would be used for stroller parking until the whole building would be closed altogether. Starcade was dead. 3 years later, on April 12, 2018, a work permit was filed to the city of Anaheim, revealing Disney would be renovating and reopening Starcade's second floor as an extended queue for Space Mountain. When it reopened, it might have looked eerily familiar. Even the original mural survived. The windows from the defunct People Mover were left intact, where now instead of watching ride vehicles go by, you are now able to view images of cosmos and galaxies. A satellite hangs in the same spot of the X-Wing. The most noticeable change was the removal of the speed ramps, giving people a view into the vacant area. Disney will occasionally use this space for special events, but it doesn't have a permanent venue. The original Starcade sign remains in place. If you enjoyed today's video, why not subscribe? Thank you very much for watching, and as always, have a great day.